The mill stood quiet, its wheels still, as Maren Embergrove worked the grindstone. The low groan of the stone seemed to speak to her, a soothing hum that accompanied her daily routine. Flour dust fell like snow around her, catching the faint candlelight that filtered through the grimy windows. It was a peaceful morning, the only sound the gentle creaking of the old mill and the soft rush of the stream outside. Maren's hands moved with practiced ease, her fingers stained with the fine powder of the grain. The world outside was still, the sun slowly rising over the hills, casting a warm glow over the landscape. In this serene atmosphere, Maren found comfort, her mind at ease as she worked. The scent of grain and stone filled the air, a familiar smell that brought her a sense of calm. As she paused to wipe the sweat from her brow, her eyes fell upon a book, open on a grain sack, its cover bearing her name in elegant script. The silence was almost palpable, a living thing that wrapped itself around her, and for a moment she felt a sense of unease, a faint shiver running down her spine. The morning light danced across the walls, casting intricate shadows as the mill's old wooden beams creaked softly, like an old man stretching his joints. The sound of the stream outside grew louder, a gentle melody that accompanied Maren's work as she lost herself in the rhythm of the grindstone. Maren's curiosity got the better of her, and she began to read the book, the words following the rhythm of the wheel above her head. The grindstone's low groan seemed to match the cadence of her heartbeat, as if the mill itself was alive, whispering secrets to her. Flour dust danced in the candlelight, like falling snow, as she turned the pages, her eyes devouring the words. The air was thick with the scent of grain and stone, and Maren felt a shiver run down her spine, as if something was watching her. She tried to shake off the feeling, focusing on the words, but the sensation lingered, a growing sense of unease that she couldn't quite explain. As the sun climbed higher, the shadows in the mill seemed to deepen, as if darkness itself was listening to her read. The sound of the stream outside seemed to grow fainter, as if it too was being drawn into the silence. Maren's breath caught in her throat as she turned a page, the words blurring together, her mind racing with questions. The mill seemed to be holding its breath, waiting for her to uncover some hidden truth. The candlelight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls as Maren's fingers trembled, her heart pounding in her chest. The grindstone's groan seemed to grow louder, a menacing sound that accompanied her reading as the darkness closed in around her. The days passed, and Maren found herself drawn back to the book, again and again. The rhythm of the wheel seemed to match her own pulse, as if the mill was echoing her very heartbeat. She began to notice strange occurrences, the sluice gate closing itself, the grindstones grinding on nothing, leaving warm flour in their wake. Footsteps walked the upper floor where no one was, and the mill wheel turned dry, its creaking growing louder, more insistent. Maren felt a growing sense of dread, as if she was trapped in a cycle, a pattern that was closing in around her. The face in the mill pen seemed to watch her, its eyes following her every move, and Maren knew she was not alone. The world around her was changing, the shadows deepening, the silence growing thicker, like a palpable presence. The wind outside seemed to pick up, whispering an unsettling melody, as the trees creaked and swayed, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching out to snatch her. Maren's heart pounded in her chest as she realized she was running out of time. The mill seemed to be waiting for her, its ancient stones holding a dark and sinister secret. The air was heavy with the scent of decay, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. The sound of the stream outside seemed to grow louder, a menacing sound that accompanied Maren's growing fear as the darkness closed in around her. The grindstone's groan seemed to grow louder, a sound that echoed through her mind as she tried to escape the cycle that was drawing her in. The mill wheel turned, its rhythm matching the intervals of a long-forgotten tune. Maren's name was fading from the book's cover, as if she was being erased, her existence undone. The last page was blank, but warm to the touch, as if something had recently passed over it. And then the wheel stopped, mid-turn, the silence deafening. Maren's body was found, her eyes frozen on the book, her hands still clutching the pages. The mill stood quiet, its secrets locked within its ancient stones, the book lying open, a new name written on its cover, like a summons to the next victim. The stream outside seemed to whisper a mournful sigh as the wind carried the scent of grain and stone away, leaving only an unsettling stillness. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the mill in a dark and foreboding shadow, as if the very darkness itself was claiming the mill as its own. Maren Embergrove, the bell ringer, walked towards the mill, the bell's toll echoing through the stillness. He saw the book open on the grain sack, the new name on its cover. Maren's eyes scanned the pages, his mind racing with questions. The mill stood quiet, its secrets waiting to be uncovered, as Maren began to read, the words drawing him in. The darkness seemed to grow, the silence deepening, as if the mill itself was waiting for him to become its next victim. The wind whispered an unsettling melody as Maren's fingers touched the pages, his heart pounding in his chest.